What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the continued edition of the Thomas Take Sports Podcast featuring Terry Cushman of AvidBoston.com. Let's pick right back up where we left off.
And for Boston to have this closer and overuse him to the point that they have, as not only as a fantasy owner of Craig Kimbrell, but as a Boston Red Sox fan, it's like their setup department in their bullpen has been pretty lackadaisical this season.
Right. Joe Kelly's been phenomenal, but for some reason he's a little injury prone, and a lot of times he can't go back to back when they need him, and then Barnes and Hembry are really frustrating because they'll go on a nice run, and then they'll get shelled a couple of times, and it's hard to not have trust issues with them. And I think that's one of the things they're looking for right now is a reliever to acquire. And Justin Wilson of the Tigers.
I was just about to say that would be perfect.
Yeah, he's connected to us, but my biggest priority is a bat, and we acquired Eduardo Nunez last night.
Yep, I really like that move. What did you think of that?
Well, it's good for third base. It solves all the problems we have at third base, but we still do need a power bat to drive in the runs, because he's only got 4 home runs on the year and like right around 30 RBIs, and that might be due in part to the fact that the Giants, where he came from, are terrible. I think they're the worst team in baseball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's why some of at least his RBIs are down. But we need that one guy who can mash, whether we make a blockbuster move for Stanton or Cabrera, which I think is a very unlikely, possibility. But it could. You never know with Dombrowski. But the Nunez move, for what it was, I thought it was good because we didn't really give up much to get him, and hopefully Farrell, I don't want to keep going back to him, but hopefully you won't come up with some dumb idea to platoon him with Marrero, against lefties or righties or whatever.
Or platoon Benintendi, Young, and Nunez, and put Nunez in the outfield, or...
Right.
This guy, right. I mean, I really didn't notice it. I can honestly give you the credit in saying that I never really noticed how bad or just ridiculous John Farrell was about the lineup and the 20 million different lineups that he puts out there. And until I started following you on Twitter, really, and listening to your podcast and stuff, and reading some of the other articles that some of the writers have written for AvidBoston.com. But one of the tweets that you posted was the question that you basically asked to the Red Sox fans. The narrative behind it is, had the Red Sox not won the World Series in 2004, the Cinderella story that they were that year, had they not won in 2004, would they have won in 2007 and 2013? And I even tweeted you back saying, wow, this is tough, but stating that I think they would have, because I think it was something about Terry Francona. In 2007, at least, they had Terry Francona still. 2013, they had Farrell. But what made you tweet that? What made you think that could have, that's a interesting scenario?
I'm just that random, really. But I think it was early in the day, and I try to keep my Twitter account busy up until game time, and it just kind of popped in my head, and I couldn't really come up with an answer myself, definitively one way or the other. And I think 2007 could have happened, and I think it would have helped for Francona to be there. He's such a great postseason manager, and he seems to get the most out of his players. So I think 2007 might have happened, but I don't know. I don't know if 2013 would have, because you still had a big core of people there from 2007, at least a decent one.
Yeah.
You had Pedroia, Lester, Ellsbury was finishing up his tenure that year, and but then we also brought in and Poppy as well, of course. But then you had guys like Napoli, who had been to 2 World Series in a row. He lost them both, but he'd been in that moment. And then screaming matches on airplanes. That's
true.
Sure.
That's true. And like I feel like there's something that as always within conversation, there's things that kind of pop into your head. But like with what this tweet meant to me as a Red Sox fan, dating back to 2004 and earlier than that, I've been a Red Sox fan since I was a little kid. But with everything that they have been through, like from 2003 till now, and the regimes that they've had and the managers that they've had, would you say, in all honesty, that the Epstein-Francona regime and the regimes that have come after it have attributed to a Red Sox decline? And it's tough to say that because, yes, they are in first place in the AL East, but the way they operate now, I notice a difference on all levels, whether it be the lineup, whether it be the trades, whether it be getting rid of prospects for certain players. What would would you say like the Ben Cherington and the Dave Dombrowski regimes of the world have been a decline from the Francona-Epstein regime?
Absolutely, I would say that because from Cherington to Dombrowski, we haven't really developed a pitcher yet. The last ace we developed was John Lester, and that happened under Francona and Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what makes Theo Epstein especially great is he has this hard, fast rule when it comes to prospects where they had to have something like 400 at-bats at each level, so single A, double A, triple A, before they could get called up. He wouldn't call them up sooner. So that really resonates with me, and a lot of guys got developed. Like, we had a very good homegrown team, especially in 2007. And don't forget, in 2008, we were only one game from going to the World Series that year. So that really was a successful year, despite the ending. And the management style of Francona, when he has the utmost faith in his players and always has their backs no matter what. And when they're struggling, he sends them out there. He sends them out there and says, you know what, we're gonna keep doing this until we get out of it. And a great example of that is in 2007, everybody thought Pedroia was just junk, wasn't ready, needed to go back.
Needed to
go back. Yeah, and then 2008, he's the American League MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the last one we had, I believe. So yeah. So I just think the philosophy was a lot better with Theo and Terry Francona, and with Farrell, it's just you got the weird platoons. He doesn't realize these young guys need a bat in their hands every day, to finish developing and to be able to grind themselves out of slumps. And with Dombrowski, I'm kind of leaning towards he's been a terrible GM.
I would agree, and
yes. I mean, his saving grace was that he got Chris Sale, and I wasn't thrilled with it at the time, but I'll admit now, a good thing he did. And he got Kimbrel, which was pretty good, but nothing else has really worked out. I mean, Mitch Moreland, not that he had high expectations, but he hasn't been great, and the bullpen isn't any better outside of Kimbrel, and I don't know. It seems like we always still need to make a trade. Like, we need that power back.
There's always something. And with Theo Epstein, it was like he wouldn't trade. He wouldn't, like, even though he hit a home run today, and it's a cool story and everything, Devers would not be in an MLB lineup right now if Theo Epstein was their GM.
Absolutely not.
There's just
next year at the earliest.
Exactly. And I just feel like you said, the Chris Sale trade, my friend Zach is a Yankees fan. One of my best friends that I've had since I was a little kid has been a Yankees fan his whole life, much like I've been a Red Sox fan. And unfortunately for him, he's a Yankees fan. But when they made the Chris Sale trade, he was like, wow, the Red Sox got a great pitcher. You got to be excited. And to be honest, I hated the Chris Sale trade because that's not really what Red Sox baseball has been about the last 10 years. They have had they have had a huge need for an ace pitcher, but they got David Price, and they paid him all this money. That didn't work out. It was kind of like they were putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound by trading for Chris Sale, trading Moncada and Kopech for Chris Sale, because of the fact that David Price didn't play up to ace, an ace-like level. Is that what you thought? Would you agree with that, or?
Yes. In the long run, first you got to get to the postseason, and Price has always done that adequately.
Mm-hmm.
We got in the postseason pretty easily, but you need to be a little more top heavy in your rotation, and Chris Sale is that guy.
Yeah,
and it almost would assure us to just breeze through this year as long as everything else was firing on all cylinders. And for the most part we have. I mean, our rotation wasn't good, before mid-June. Price wasn't here. Pomeranz was
terrible.
Was getting knocked around. He had that infamous fight with John Farrell in the dugout, and Porcello was the complete opposite of what he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
He went from Cy Young to the outhouse, and his ERA was over 5 for a while. But now that all that's getting dialed in, and then you have a Chris Sale, that's a killer 1, 2, 3. Sale, Price, and Porcello, and you still got Erod and Pomeranz. So that's a great rotation, and it just almost assured us that we were going to probably have one of the best, if not the best, rotation in baseball. But on the flip side, it would have been so cool to have Moncada in there with Benintendi and Mookie, and
that's true.
And
and one thing too that I thought too, like at one point in the season with Erod, I thought Erod played and pitched. I should say pitched. He pitched second best at one point to Chris Sale during the regular season this year.
April and May,
April and May, he was fantastic. So I'm hopeful that they'll be able to, just continue to be consistent. But if there was one player at this trade deadline that you mentioned the power bat being a need for them, I always mention one misstep move leads you to this moment. And in previous episodes of the Thomas Take, I talked about how had the Red Sox waited and not thrown money at Pablo Sandoval and maybe waited on a guy like Edwin Encarnacion, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now, in my opinion. But who is one player at the trade deadline that you think, besides Eduardo Nunez, someone that's out there now that you think the Red Sox could maybe zero in on and get via trade?
All right. Cushman will give me the answer in the next part of the Thomas Take Sports podcast. Really enjoyed talking to Terry, listening to this interview now and talking to him and having him on the show. I really enjoyed having him on just to talk about the Red Sox and much, much more. And I really can't wait for you to hear where this conversation goes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.